Imagine a world where your bank balance weighs 4 tons, where you can't move your money because it's literally carved from solid rock, and where everyone just knows who owns what, without banks, without paperwork, without a single computer. Sounds impossible, right? Well, on a tiny island in the Pacific Ocean, they've been doing exactly this for over 500 years. And here's the crazy part. They accidentally invented the exact same system we now call blockchain technology, centuries before Bitcoin was even a thought. This is the story of rye stones, the world's most bizarre currency, and the financial system that shouldn't work, but does. Welcome to Yap, a small island in Micronesia, about 500 miles southwest of Guam. Population, 11,000. Known for having one of the strangest monetary systems ever conceived by humans. These are rye stones, massive limestone discs with holes carved through the center. They range from the size of a dinner plate to an absolute unit weighing over 8,000 pounds. That's heavier than a car. But here's where it gets weird. You can't exactly slip one of these into your wallet. You can't deposit them at a bank. You can't even move most of them. They just sit there, in public, where everyone can see them. So, how do you buy anything? Simple. You just tell everyone the stone now belongs to someone else. No lawyers, no contracts, no blockchain explorer website. Just the collective memory of the community saying, yeah, that stone over there, that's Bob's now. And everyone just agrees. But before you think this is some primitive system, let me tell you where these stones came from, because that's where this story gets really interesting. Rye stones aren't native to Yap. There's no limestone on the island. Zero, zilch. So where did they come from? Palau, an island 250 miles away across open ocean. Picture this. You're a Yapese sailor centuries ago. You and your crew take bamboo rafts across 250 miles of open Pacific, one of the most dangerous stretches of water on Earth. You arrive in Palau, hike into the jungle, and find limestone caves. Then you spend weeks, maybe months, carving out these massive discs using nothing but stone tools and coral abrasives. You carve a hole through the center so you can slide a pole through to transport it. Then, and this is the insane part, you load these multi-ton stones onto bamboo rafts and sail them back across 250 miles of open ocean. Many boats didn't make it. People died. Stones were lost to storms. Some expeditions never returned home. And here's where the Yapese system gets truly mind-blowing. One of the most valuable rye stones in Yap's history? It's sitting at the bottom of the ocean. A crew successfully carved it and were transporting it home when a storm hit. The stone fell overboard and sank. The crew made it back and told everyone what happened. And you know what the community decided? That stone still counts. It still has value. Everyone knows it's down there. Everyone knows who owns it. It changes hands. People use it for major transactions. A stone that no one can see, that no one will ever touch again. Sound familiar? This is where rye stones become genuinely fascinating to modern economists and computer scientists. Because what the Yapese created, completely by accident, is essentially a physical blockchain. Let me break this down. Bitcoin's blockchain, decentralized ledger, transactions recorded publicly. Everyone has a copy of the transaction history. No central authority. Value based on collective agreement. Immutable record. Rye stones. Decentralized ledger, oral tradition. Transactions recorded publicly. Everyone knows. Everyone maintains the ledger in their memory. No central authority. Value based on collective agreement. Immutable record, can't change the past. When a rye stone changes hands, there's no physical movement. Instead, the entire community updates their mental ledger. It's a distributed database, maintained by social consensus. If you tried to claim you owned a stone that everyone knew belonged to someone else, you'd be laughed out of town. The community consensus is the security system. The blockchain doesn't need computers, it just needs trust, transparency, and a community small enough that everyone knows the transaction history. But here's the really clever part. The value of a rhinestone isn't just its size, it's its story. How difficult was the journey? Did anyone die bringing it back? How long did it take to carve? Is the craftsmanship exceptional? A smaller stone with an amazing story. Maybe 3 people died bringing it back, or it survived 2 typhoons. Could be worth more than a larger stone with a boring history. The provenance, the chain of ownership, the narrative. These are all part of the value. Exactly like NFTs, where the story and the transaction history can matter more than the digital asset itself. Now, every monetary system has a moment where it's tested. For rhinestones, that moment came in the late 1800s. An Irish-American sea captain named David O'Keefe was shipwrecked on Yap. He noticed the value of rhinestones and had a brilliant, or depending on your perspective, terrible idea. He'd use European ships and metal tools to mass-produce rhinestones from Palau. Way bigger than anything the Yapese could make with traditional methods. He'd flood the market, trade them for copra, dried coconut, and make a fortune. So he did exactly that. Brought back stones so massive they'd never been seen before. Surely these would be the most valuable, right? Wrong. The Yapese took one look at O'Keefe's stones and basically said, "Yeah, those don't count." Why? Because there was no struggle, no risk, no story. Anyone could make those with European tools and big ships. Where's the honor in that? O'Keefe's stones became known as O'Keefe stones. And while they had some value, they were never accepted as equal to traditionally made rhinestones. The community's consensus determined value, and no outside force could change that. It's like if someone tried to create a new Bitcoin by just copying the code. Sure, you can do it, but the community consensus determines which one has value. Just ask Bitcoin Cash. The Yapese had essentially solved the 51% attack problem centuries before cryptocurrency needed to. The social consensus was the security layer. Today, Yap uses US dollars for everyday transactions. But rhinestones? They're still around, still valued, still used for major ceremonial exchanges like weddings, land transfers, and political alliances. You can't buy one with dollars. They're not for sale. They exist in their own parallel economy, governed by centuries of tradition and social consensus. But economists, anthropologists, and computer scientists keep coming back to Yap because it proves something profound. You don't need technology to create a trustless, decentralized monetary system. You just need transparency, community consensus, an immutable record, scarcity from difficulty of production, social enforcement. The Yapese figured out distributed ledger technology using nothing but human memory and social trust. They created proof-of-work mining, those dangerous expeditions. They implemented public transaction records. They defended against inflation through community consensus. They built a blockchain out of rocks. So the next time someone tells you blockchain is revolutionary, remember this. A tiny island in the Pacific solved the same problems centuries ago, with limestone, bamboo rafts, and human trust. Maybe the future of money isn't about the technology at all. Maybe it's about rediscovering principles that were carved in stone all along. Times the most innovative ideas are the oldest ones. If you found this story fascinating, you're going to love what's coming next week. We're diving into how ancient Rome, the greatest empire in history, wasn't destroyed by barbarians, but by debt. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss it. Every week, we uncover the weirdest, wildest money stories from history that somehow explain everything about our world today. Drop a comment below. Would you sail 250 miles on a bamboo raft for a piece of limestone? Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.